Hello again. Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog on the Live Sound 101 YouTube channel. And it is a beautiful morning out. The heat hasn't quite kicked in yet. It's definitely summertime. It's today's date. It's like June 13th, something like that. I don't know, sometime in June. It's still the week before InfoComm. So InfoComm is next week. I just uploaded a video. My last video was how I was just excited about that. But I still have to do sound one more time. This is Sunday morning. I'm headed to church right now. And I'm about to go do some live sound again. And this should be an interesting morning. It's Children's Sunday. So this is when all the classes of all ages get up there and do like a little 5-minute presentation about what they learned this year in their Sunday school classes. And we did not have a dress rehearsal. So they decided to not have a rehearsal this year. I didn't really kick back too much. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. You'll find out all about the how things went in my next video, which will be a live sound report of how things went. But in this video, I wanted to touch on an audio lesson. And this one it's a simple one. It seems simple. Some people, it's an easy one to forget, but it's very important. So the big idea for this chat here as I'm driving is properly labeling physical media. And as soon as those words just came out of my mouth, I thought, well, properly labeling physical media is part of it, but now in the digital world that we live in, properly labeling files, audio files, video files. I'm pretty much talking about recording, like the live recordings that you guys make. It's so important to label things in some sort of sequential way, logical way, file folders and systems, but there's a whole lot to be said about that. But really the main thing I wanted to focus on is the folks out there that are still using physical media. I'm pretty sure the cassette tape died. Well, it really died a slow, painful death. To be honest, we were using cassette tapes pretty much up until Sony said, hey, we're not going to make these anymore. Just because that's just the way things were done and nobody updated it. So anyway, recently we changed to a real-time CD recorder. That's the Tascam. I've talked about the Tascam recorder, and in previous videos I've talked about, or a previous report I talked about an optical media failure. You know, optical media is not really all that solid. It is susceptible to errors and stuff, but you know, you work with what you got, right? So if you do record to DVD or to CD, this concept of properly labeling everything consistently, week in and week out, is huge. I can't tell you how important this is. Man, especially if you're pumping out, multiple recordings of multiple services every week. And so, I mean, each year you've got at least 52, and then you do 2 services a year. Now you're up to 104 discs. Just imagine if you don't label those things well or put them in some sort of organized, file folder or something like that, where you can kind of flip through. You got a bunch of blank CDs. That's a problem. So anyway, here's my tip. This is what we have decided on. That's what I've decided on, is that rather than just put the date alone is not good enough. Rather than just put the preacher's name is not good enough. The title of the sermon is not good enough. You've got to put 4 pieces of crucial information on a CD. At least that's what we've determined in-house, because we still do physical media. I do think it's worthwhile to explore moving away from physical media, especially in a volunteer team. If you can record right to a solid state memory card, and then now you're just managing the naming of the files and putting them into folders, it's a lot easier to sort through things that way than it is physical media. But we're still kind of in a physical media world right now. So we actually record two places. We record to the CD, and in addition, we also record, or we used to record to the TriCaster, where we would record audio and video. So we'd have, you know, multiple copies. But anyway, getting off on a tangent again. Those 4 things that I think are crucial to be on a Sunday morning service recording is, like, the most important thing is the media ID. So we've established this media ID system where you start with the letters CD underscore EBC for Emmanuel Baptist Church. So every CD starts with that CD underscore EBC. That's in case we have another campus. We could do CD underscore the gymnasium, or, you know, whatever. Or if we do have multiple locations one day. So then I'll put a little video clip at the end of this video. I'll put an example about what I'm talking about. I'll have to get my really neat handwriting. So CD underscore EBC WOR for worship 2015 06 13 01. Now 01 would be for the first service, 02 would be for the second service. In addition to that media ID, so that gets printed on the CD. When the CD gets imported or ripped, that is the name of the raw master recording that gets imported onto a computer. So you can always have this link between the physical media and the oh, looks like I'm the first one in. First in, last out. So you can always get that link between the physical media and the recording, or the digital media. The next thing I like to have on there is the name of the sermon. I think that is very useful if you're flipping through things. Oh yeah, what was the one? Salt and Light. Yeah, okay, here it is. Boom. Because you're not going to know. It's important to have the multimedia ID, but you're not necessarily going to know what's on that. So another piece of information is the sermon title. So that's 2. I also like to put the pastor's name, because sometimes, you know, you'll remember we've got 3 pastors that kind of go on a rotating schedule. We got like one main pastor, and then we've got 2 other pastors that kind of rotate in every once in a while, that do other things in the church but also preach on a less regular basis. So we've got the pastor's name, and then the last thing I like to put is like the main scripture, so the scripture reference. So you got 4 things there: the media ID, the name of the sermon, the pastor's name, and the scripture reference. So if those 4 things are on the CD every single time, week in and week out, it makes things a lot easier. And the date is baked into the media ID. So you know, a 5th thing might be the date, but it's kind of built into the media ID, which is convenient. So anyway, that's what we do. If you don't do it, I highly recommend thinking about what matters to your organization in terms of labeling your media. You can borrow what I did, use that, or maybe there's some other things that matter more to you that you need to sit down and have a little brainstorming session with 1 or 2 other guys to figure out what matters to your organization, or maybe you just need to sit down and think this through. But highly recommend doing that. And if you've got something else to add to what I said, or you disagree or have another idea, please let me know. I'm open to learning more. I am a student of audio video technology, trying to just pursue excellence, even though I'm a volunteer, and encourage you guys to do the same. So I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Okay, so here's what we do to label our CDs. We've got these 4 things I mentioned. This is a 2-scale example here of a CD. We've got the media ID number, the sermon name, the pastor name, and the scripture. And if you want to see an example, down here, I know I'm such a comedian, we've got that media ID number. The WOR stands for worship. That could also be like SMW, Sunday morning worship, and you could be like OTH for other, or you know, SPC for special, or whatever, if you've got other types of events that aren't your typical Sunday morning. And then 2015 06 for June 14th day, and then 01 for the number of service. So if there was like a first service and a second service. You could do 01, 02, 03 for a third service. And the title, How to Tithe, by Reverend Seymour Cash, and the verse would be 2 Corinthians 9:7. I know, I'm such a jokester. Anyway, that's the example. Now, those are the 4 things that I think are most important for our organization, but your organization, your volunteer team, your tech team, your staff might have different needs, and some other things you might want to consider. Other ideas would be sample rate and bit depth. Always good to have some of those details written down. You might want to include those. The duration, how long the recording is, a series name, and maybe even musical artists. Maybe we should even give those guys some credit, huh? Nah, we wouldn't want to do that, would we? So anyway, that's my example. Let me know if you got anything else to add to it.